Oh, she said placeholder.
And the winner is.
You got it. Uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna get started here. I don't know how much Mom knows about this, but this is her 80th birthday party.
Surprise!
Surprise! I had kind of thought, I was thinking, oh, Mom's 80th birthday's coming up, and then Gary calls me up and says, hey, it's your Mom's 80th birthday party. This is what I'd like to do. So, thank you, Gary, for putting the bill and helping us to put this all together. It's been great so far. We will sing Happy Birthday, but I was thinking we were going to wait till the cake to do that, if that's okay. We are going to sing though. This is one of Mom's favorite hymns. Let us all press on. If we can sing at least one verse of that. Let us all press on in the work of the Lord, and when life is o'er, we may gain a reward. In the fight for right, let us wield the sword, the mighty sword of truth. In a curse only enemy deride, we must be victorious, for the Lord is on our side. We'll not hear the wicked or give heed to what they say, but the Lord our heavenly Father we will obey. Very good. Thank you. We'd asked everybody send a video, and I thought this was the greatest idea, and then nobody was sending videos, and I kind of started getting worried. And then after I did my video, I thought, you know what, I'd kind of rather do it live. So I told everybody, well, you know, if you'd like to do a video, great. Some may not want to get up in front of everybody and talk. So thank you, even though some of them came in late, thank you for sending the videos in, and I think you're going to like it. But what we'll do first is we're going to watch the video that Alex and Travis has put together, and I don't know how many different people, but a bunch of different contributors and some different things. And then when the video's over, I'll have a few words to say, and then Mike will have a few words, and then Marcus, did you?
I recorded a few, but I left one off there, so I've got one more.
So Marcus has one, and Brent, were you? I think Brent's got all of his. So Mike and I and Marcus will share our little bit. We'll give Gary a chance to say a little bit, and then we'll give you a chance to say a little bit, and then we'll go to that point. Okay?
Hi, Grandma. We love you.
Hey, happy birthday. Thought we'd do a quick little short video and tell you we loved you and happy birthday. I think some of the memories I most remember is going to Overton and staying at Grandma Lewis's house and going there all the time, going to Lake Mead and being able to see all the time and hang out. And probably one of my other memories that you probably don't like to remember is I'll never forget throwing up fruit punch all over the carpet after one of my dad and I's trips to Las Vegas on the way home. I guess I had fruit punch and I'll never forget that. So happy birthday, love you tons, and hopefully you guys are having a great time up there, and sorry we couldn't make it.
Bye.
Say peace.
Peace.
Say peace, Libby.
Peace.
I have some funny things I remember about my grandma, and that is you never eat the cereal that's on top of her fridge because you might get a spider in your bowl of cereal, or the graham crackers may or may not be stale, so just be careful with those. No, but on a serious note, she is an amazing grandma and an amazing mom. She's been a great example to me and my family, and she has a strong testimony, and she lets me know it, and she always checks in on me. She is awesome. And happy birthday, Grandma. I love you.
Okay, so one of my memories with Grandma was when we were growing up. You had been up here in Utah, visiting us and everything like that. And when you'd go home, you took me with you. And I remember driving home to Overton with you and everything like that. And then I would sleep over at your house, and you were still working at the time too. And I would walk down to the middle school, because it was the high school at the time, and I'd visit you during your lunch and everything like that. And then we'd have lunch together and everything like that. And I just remember having so much fun and everything, going with you and all by myself and everything like that. I never remember how I got home. My parents must have been coming a week later or something, and that's probably why I went. I never can remember that part of it. And then another memory that I have is when Hutton was first born. You guys were on your mission. You were mission presidents, I believe, and you were able to come home for a little bit, and you were able to meet Hutton for the first time when he was just really, really teeny tiny and everything like that. And we were able to get a 4 Generations picture also.
So some of my memories from growing up, I always remember Grandma having, and I'm sure many of you still can feel the same way, I've never seen Grandma without her hair or her nails perfectly done. Also, to kind of keep her hair perfect, many of you have probably seen what she would call her pillow, which I have no idea how she can call it that, because I don't know if it's a rolled up sheet or a rock or whatever it is. It's a small little hard roll that she uses behind her neck that she constitutes as a pillow, although it's nothing of such. But either way, it keeps her hair perfect. I remember when you guys went and served your mission in Arkansas. It was fun to come and visit you when you were serving as mission presidents, and it was fun to just experience what Little Rock was like. And I think I went out there twice with my mom, and it was always fun because I had just graduated high school, and it was so much fun to meet those cute young missionaries. So that was always fun. Kind of more recently, so when I was pregnant with Parker, you were actually scheduled to go to St. Louis on my due date that I was due with Parker, so we didn't expect that you'd be able to meet Parker, and you had come up to kind of Salt Lake for all your trainings, and so March 1st was when you were supposed to go start driving to St. Louis. And the night before, I went into labor with Parker, and so the morning that you were leaving for St. Louis, you were able to come to the hospital and meet Parker and hold him. And I just remember how tender of a and sweet those moments were in the hospital when you were able to come and meet him, and especially right before you left on your mission and were able to say farewell to you. But most recently, I'm very grateful for the love that you show for me, and especially my kids, as each birthday has kind of come, and Christmas, that how much you show your love for us. And we haven't had a birthday that you haven't sent a card with some money for the kids, and it just means a lot to me. And I'm so grateful that you are amazing grandparents to me, but especially to my kids. You care so much about your grandkids and your great grandkids, and we feel that love every day. We know that you guys pray for us. Your testimony is so strong. We feel it, and you always are willing to share that testimony with us, and we have all learned from it. We're grateful for all that you've done, and Grandma, we love you. We wish you a happy birthday. Dan wishes that he was able to be a part of this and be at Bear Lake with us, but just know that he loves you as well and is grateful for your example. We love you, Grandma. Happy birthday.
AWESOME. Awesome, awesome, totally. Happy birthday.
Love you.
Totally awesome, Grandma. Happy birthday,
We
Grandma.
love you. Go kisses.
I'd like to say more in person. Love you. Alright, well, I might ball during this part, but I want to tell Mom how important she's been to me in my life. What a great example she's been. She's always supported me, always encouraged me, and got me to be a better person. I'm so thankful for her for being such a big part of my children's lives, especially Eileen and Scotty. Sorry. I can remember from day one when Gary and Kay came to the hospital when the girls were born, and I know my brothers and sisters are probably jealous because my kids that are her grandkids have got to enjoy seeing their grandma a lot, and she's always been there when we needed her, babysitting or take them to do fun things. And I just love you so much, Mom. Okay, so one time when I was in high school, I used to drive the white Ford Courier. John drove it before me, and then by the time it got to me, it was pretty used up, but I loved that truck because I had a vehicle. Well, Mom had just gotten a new car, and I can't remember what kind of car it was, but it was silver, and she would usually park in the driveway and pull over to the side, and then I would park down the end of the driveway. And one day, I forgot about Mom being behind me, and I just backed straight up, and it just tore a big streak right down the side of the car and scratched it and dented it really bad. And so I went in the house, and I can't remember what my exact words were. I said, "Mom, why did you park behind me?" And I blamed it on her, and she's like, "What are you talking about, you idiot?" And so anyway, she went to work the next day and parked in the driveway, and when Gary Cameron came into work that day, he saw the scratch, and he thought that a guy that had just pulled out had made the scratch, and so he went running into the high school and said, "Kay, someone just dented your new car." And she said, "No, that was Brent's handiwork." Okay, so I remember when I was really young, and Mike and John were quite a bit older than me. I think I was around 7 or 8, and Mike and John and I and even Marcus would play knee football. Now, I didn't have to get on my knees because I wasn't so small, but Mike and John had to get on their knees, and we used to have this little game where we would play. Well, whenever we started playing, I could always remember my mom saying, "No ball in the house," and we'd go, "Oh, whatever, Mom." And so it seemed like every time we played, we'd throw the ball and a lamp would get broken, and then Mom would go, "Was that my lamp?" Okay, so I remember, this is a little tidbit to the knee football story. My mom used to have these 2 lamps, and the only way I could describe is they had this big orange, it was made out of glass, this orange ball about the size of a basketball, and it was orange, and the ugliest things I've ever seen. Sorry, Mom. But those lamps were precious to her for some reason, and both of those lamps got sacrificed to knee football.
I remember a day, you told me there was a puppy down at the bus.
Yeah, there was.
What did Grandma think about that puppy?
Her name was Macy.
Did Grandma like the puppy? Did Grandma like the puppy?
Yeah, but...
Did Grandma ever tell you she had a puppy named Smelly Dog?
Yeah, it died.
It did die, didn't it?
It had a grave right in the backyard.
In her backyard?
Yeah. I didn't know that. Guess what? There, under his grave, there's roly-polies.
Roly-polies under his grave?
We found roly-polies under his grave.
Did you play with those roly-polies?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that is hilarious. Okay, tell me about one time. Something you did fun with Grandma.
Well, she bakes cookies with me.
She does? What kind of cookies does she make?
She makes chocolate. And the game I forgot the game, what it's called. But after we have breakfast, we go get dressed.
Okay.
And then
And then?
and then we go after we get dressed, we go play for a little bit.
When do you read scriptures?
After we're done playing, and then we get our hair done.
Does Grandma do your hair every day?
Yeah.
She's gotten really good, hasn't she? Okay, Scotty, what's one memory you have of Grandma Batchelor?
Well, she tried to do a handstand and she bumped her head and her head bleeded.
And her head bled?
Uh-huh.
Did she get a black eye too?
And then she got a black head.
She got a black head?
Just on the top of her, just a little, where the spot was that was bloody. It was black.
Oh, it was? Was it scary?
Well, she was kind of crying.
And that was sad, huh?
Grandpa was like, it was so weird. My grandma taught me to do piano, and I love it. And she taught me how to do piano, and she taught me how to do the red, blue, and yellow chord. She did not know how to do it.
Do you love Grandma? Yes, we love Grandma.
Because she teaches us about everything, and she teaches us about she did not know how to do it. She prayed to us. I mean, she helped us very much, and I love her.
Okay, so what does Grandma do when she practices with you every day?
She helps me.
Does she offer you money every time?
Maybe, I don't know.
Does she bribe you with pennies?
Yeah.
Yeah? And do you get mad sometimes?
When we get mad, we have to take one out.
You have to take a penny out?
Yeah.
Grandma's pretty smart, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
What would you want to tell Grandma if you could? Tell her one thing.
Well, one thing I wanted to tell her that thank you for helping me do piano.
My favorite memory of Grandma is dinner.
Lately, Grandma has been quite the Facebook foodie, so Aaron has been loving the inspiration I've been getting for dinner each night from her.
Hey, what are we having for dinner tonight?
I don't know. Let me check Grandma's Facebook real quick. This one looks good.
Wow, this looks great. Thanks, Grandma.
On a more serious note, one of my favorite memories of Grandma happened somewhat recently, actually. Grandma was able to help me through the temple for my first time. She was able to be there on my wedding day and was able to help me get into my wedding dress after our sealing. It was just a really special moment to be there on my wedding day with my grandma, my mom, my sister in the bridal room with me, and I just will cherish that moment forever. This is the blanket that my grandma made for me when I was a baby, and I slept with it every night, and I loved it so much. And I started getting older, and my parents hid it because they said that would be really weird to have when you were married. But I just found it, and so I'm gonna sleep with it every night.
This is the blanket Grandma B made for me when we got married, and Alex used to hide it from me, but now I found it, and now it's our baby making blanket.
We love our grandma so much. She's such a good example to us, and we love getting to visit her and when she comes up to visit us.
Growing up in the Valley, Kay was always known to me as the pretty white-haired lady that always wore lipstick and nylons. Often when we get together, the Lewis family, we eat. And Jell-O salad is usually prepared. Kay will say, oh, this is a really easy to make. And for the first few years, I believed her, and I would mentally start writing down the recipe as she would start. But by the time she got to the 8th ingredient, I realized Kay's definition of easy is not the same as mine. Kay is great at cooking, and I have learned a lot from her. After I married into the Lewis family, I learned how difficult Kay's childhood was, and I also saw that she never let that define her. And I took that, what I learned, and could see that I could apply that to my own life and set my own path and not follow the poor examples in my family line. She's always been an example of putting her Savior in the center of her life. And because of this, she's always had the attitude that everything will be okay. As President Hinckley said, everything will work out. And she's a testimony of that. Kay, you've been more to me than a mother-in-law. I appreciate your example and your patience with me and your love. Love you. Happy birthday.
Hey, I've got a couple memories. I guess those that stand out most. I had a unique experience in that I got to have Mom one-on-one quite a bit of time. Once Frank graduating, went on his mission. But those that stand out to me most are just coming back from my mission. She came over to Korea and we were able to tour my mission. Just was really neat to be able to have her one-on-one, and I just quizzed her like crazy of experiences with Dad and things that I couldn't remember or that were maybe that I wasn't a part of, and that was really fun. I guess one that really stands out is just Mom pushing me to do things. I didn't want to be in a band or a choir or plays. I wanted to do the sports things, but I really appreciated her pushing me because now I have a better love or appreciation for music. It really got me out of my comfort zone. Hey, another memory was during football season. Each of you probably had similar experiences as this, but maybe a little different in that Mom would always sit by the Levitts, and Nick Levitt would record the games. And on that following Monday, we'd end up watching the games as a team. And unfortunately, it had sound with it too. This was our first game of the year, and I caught a pass out to the flat, got hit by one guy, and then another guy, and just 5 or 6 guys just piled on, and all of a sudden you hear on the video as we're watching this as a team, "Leave my boy alone!" Anyway, they teased me about that pretty good, but it told me another message, or gave me another message, in that she was there to support me. She had my back, and I don't think I can remember any sporting event that I was ever involved with, or any other event that I was involved with that Mom wasn't there. Just real supportive. Hey, this memory isn't necessarily one I had, but it's one that Mom relayed to me. Kind of tender. Anyway, it was just shortly after Dad had died. I know Mom was really having a hard time, and I was young enough that I was oblivious to all of that, unfortunately. And I was going through my own struggles, I think, at the time. Anyhow, I remember from what she told me that, I don't know if it was Brent and I, just the knuckleheads that we were back then or what, that were just giving her stress. But she said she knelt down for prayer one night and just literally had that feeling that I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. How am I supposed to raise these 2 boys? And the experience she had is the one that's really touching. She said, and maybe Mom can correct me if I'm messing up some of the details, but I remember she said that during that prayer she felt a hand on her shoulder and a voice that sounded just like Dad's that basically said, "You can do this." She'll be able to tell us better what the actual phrase that she remembers, but it's just kind of touching that even after Dad had passed, that he was still worried about her, and she was able to have that experience. I think it gave her the confidence that she could go through. And I just want to say thanks, Mom. I love you, and happy birthday to you. Thank you for all you do for me.
Hi Grandma, I just wanted to let you know I love you and I'm so thankful for your example and I hope you have a very good birthday. Love you.
Thanks for all your support, Grandma, and happy birthday.
Hey Grandma, happy birthday. I just want to tell you I love you and thanks for always supporting me in everything I do, my activities that I've done and with school and everything. I love your texts that I get monthly-ish, asking how I am, telling me different things that you've been doing. Love you.
Okay, we're going to give this a try. I've got several memories written down of Mom. I remember our house that was up on the highway. I think I was 4 or 5 and Mike was 2. I remember I came into the house and Mom was crying and she told me that that they just announced on TV that President Kennedy had been shot and she was watching it, but I remember she was pregnant with John, but I can remember that day very, very vividly. I remember in high school, Mom helping me make prom dresses many times, but the one particular time I remember is that we were making a dress and we stayed up really late into the night, into the morning, and she let me sleep in so that I didn't have to go to school and be tired for the dance the next night. It was just some fun memories to be able to spend time with her and have her teaching me at the same time. I remember years ago when I was called as primary president and I was terrified. I thought I about fell out the chair when they asked me, and I thought I got to think about this. And I remember I called Mom and she said, "What are you talking about? You just accept callings and you get down on your knees and Heavenly Father will help you to help you to know what you need to do." So I did. I got on my knees and not too long did I start feelings that this was right. Callings, I think, make you grow, but I learned that through Mom's experience, Mom's example to me. I remember Mom teaching me to iron hankies and Dad's shirts so that I would know how to make them, and I remember that being my chore of helping. As a parent, I know that we need to teach by example, and that's exactly what she did. When Chris was born, I don't remember which day of the week he was born on, but I was going home from the hospital on a Friday, and Mom and Dad had come up, and I had Chris on the hospital bed getting him ready to be able to take him home, and Mom and Dad got there, and they were fighting to who got to go through the door first to see him and to touch him and to hold him. And it was so much fun to see the excitement on their eyes of their first grandchild, because I know the excitement it was for us. And then, so they were there for the weekend, and of course it turned your life upside down for their first baby. And I remember them leaving on Sunday afternoon and just crying my eyes out as soon as they left, thinking, how am I going to do this all by myself? Because Mom helped me get up in the night. I was trying to nurse and not having a good experience with it. And within a day or so of talking to Mom every single day, we determined that I did need her help. And she said, I will fly you down if Carl can come get you in a week. And it was hard for Carl for me to leave because he needed to be with me and Chris too. But I needed my mom, and I needed to be there to have her help me so that I could learn to do this forever. Been excited that Mom and Gary have been able to serve, but we are glad that they are home and we can see them more and spend more time with them. It's been fun to see them do some things to their house, to be able to enjoy it, and how much fun it was to help her with the kitchen and with them both. We love them both dearly and so proud to be their daughter. I love you so much, Mom. Thanks. Bye.
Whenever I think of my grandma, I think of, I don't know if I've ever seen her mad. I just feel like she always has a smile on her face. She's always happy, always fun to be around, and she's very, very outgoing, and she definitely has an awesome testimony, and she isn't afraid to show it. And I feel like that is a strength and something that I look up to. One thing that I always cherish is when I got married, I'm pretty sure she was on a mission in Arkansas, or Gary was mission president there, and I think that she was able to fly out and be able to come and see me get married, and so that was something that's really special to me, and I feel like that's something that I remember and will remember forever. And also with that, Alex and I we'd go down to Vegas to celebrate our anniversary every year. And we would go down, and on our way down, we would stop at my grandma's house. And we would stop, and my grandma, of course, would have a meal ready, and she would feed us this 5-course meal, and it was always amazing. No matter what she cooked, I remember it being amazing. Another thing that I was able to do with my grandma was I went down to visit my sister Heather in Omaha, Nebraska, and I was able to go with my mom and Heather and Parker, her little boy. We were able to go down and be able to visit my grandma in St. Louis when she was serving a mission there. And it was a lot of fun because we kind of was like a girls' day, and we went down and we went to this awesome place called, I think it was, I can't remember what it's called. It was like Fizz or something. It had like this monstrous big root beer float, and it was amazing. It was so good, and I said, I'll remember that forever, and I know that I need to go there every time I go to St. Louis now. But we also went to the Delicate Arch. We did some shopping. It was a lot of fun, and something that, and that was actually on my grandma's birthday. I remember that, and it was fun to be able to celebrate that with her, and it was fun to be able to visit her. But Grandma, I love you, and I'm grateful for you in my life. I'm grateful for your testimony, and that I'm able to have someone like you in my life that I can look up to. And I hope you have a great birthday, and know that we love you.
Most of you, well, all of the brothers and sisters, and probably none of the grandkids knew Grandma Anderson, Gertie, as she was known to everybody. Some of you may have known Grandma Hickman, but Grandma Lewis comes from she's basically third generation of some pretty tough little ladies. And when I say little, Grandma Anderson was what, about this tall? So they got a little bit taller, and they mellowed out a little bit. But one thing that Mom didn't carry on from Gertie and Louise was she gave up the cussing. She cannot cuss like Gertie and Grandma Hickman. So it was good to know that she has mellowed out. She has many fine qualities. She left that one behind. Another one of my fondest memories, we laugh about this oftentimes, but Grandma Lewis is the best flocker I know. Nobody can flock a tree like Grandma Lewis. We always had the best flock tree every year, and we were proud. I always think, I wish I had a flock tree like that. Think about, can my mom come and flock my tree? But she was the best flocker. She would hook up her vacuum to this flocking thing, and in no time she had it all flocked, and she was a good flocker. Early on in life, I really struggled with reading. I didn't really like reading too much, and Mom pushed, and she comes up with this book. It's about a woman. I'm like, you want me to read, and you want me to read a book about a woman? But somehow I gave in. She kept pushing, so we read this book. It was about Babe Didrikson Zaharias, who She was an Olympic track athlete and won various gold medals, and she wasn't a professional at the time, because I don't think they had professionals, but she was basically the top of the amateur golfers. And so we read this, basically an autobiography of Babe Didrikson-Zaharias, and kept pushing and pushing. Somehow we made it to the end, and then in the end, we cried together as this Babe Didrikson died of cancer. I learned a lot from Babe Didrikson in that lesson, but I still didn't read very much. I'm thankful for that experience. I've said oftentimes that probably one of the downfalls between my mom and mine's relationship is if she just wouldn't have tried to teach me to play the piano. If we could have just let that go, we probably would have got along a whole lot better. But of course, I wish I knew how to play the piano now. But, and I have to say I'm sorry for the struggles that we went through. It was quite a battle. She tried her best, but it was just one of those, she wasn't going to win, not because of her, but because of me. One of my most favorite memories is, now, Mike might have been there, I can't remember for sure, but first I was thinking, I was 5 or 6, but now I'm thinking I'm probably a little older, 8 or 9 or so, maybe 10, I don't remember. Mike's about 3 years older. And I had done something that apparently she thought that I needed a spanking. One of those other things she learned from Grandma Anderson and Grandma Hickman that she didn't let go of. She would pull out the hanger and whack us pretty good. She had no problem with that hanger. But on this occasion, she hit me and it didn't hurt. So she hit me some more and it didn't hurt. So she started hitting even harder and it didn't hurt. After a while, I just started laughing. Do you remember this? You were there? And so we started laughing. After a little bit, she couldn't hit us anymore because she started laughing too hard. That was Mom learned a great lesson that day that spanking just wasn't going to do it anymore. Another fond memory is we'd sent my papers off to. I'm gonna have to sit down here. Sent my papers off for my mission, and the mission calls always came on Thursday. Dad picked up the mail. I don't know how she got a hold of us, or we got a hold of each other without cell phones, but somehow we got a hold of each other. We met down at the school, at the high school where Mom was working, and it was during the summertime. And so we go in to open up the call, and of course this is my mission call, so I'm trying to open it up. I get the thing open before I can even read anything. Mom's Australia Melbourne mission. I'm like, where does it say that? I'm like still looking all over trying to read the thing, and before I can even see anything, she's hollering it out, and I was glad that she was happy with her mission call. A little later on in life, a really funny memory. Tiff and I we got out to Mom's. It was fairly late. It was like 11:30 or later, and she says, "Oh well, Gary's coming over." Gary Batchelor. Like, oh, Gary's coming over. We're like, it's 11:30 at night. We're like, what's he coming over? Mom is like a giddy little schoolgirl. We're like, what is up with her? So a few minutes later, Gary comes over, and Mom is just, like I said, a giddy little schoolgirl. And Gary asked permission if it would be okay if he married my mother. And I said, absolutely not. No, I didn't. I'm like, yes, that's okay. And happy to have Gary in her life. And especially, you go back and forth on different things, but the experiences that they've been able to have together never would have happened without them being able to get together later on in their lives, and thankful to him. On a little more serious note, a couple of different things. I was in Mesquite one day and filling up at the Maverick, and the guy on the other side, Derek Hafen, I played ball against him in high school, and I'd run into him a few different times, and he says to me, he says, you know, your mom saved my wife's life. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know anything about the story. He says, yeah, if it wasn't for her, he says, she really saved my mom's life. And I didn't know what to say. He said, well, that's my mom. And we talked a little bit, but I just didn't feel comfortable, you know, going in and asking the whole story. So the next time I saw Mom, I asked her about it. And I don't know how many of you remember the Oversons, but Kim Overson was, when Mom was the Young Women's president, and she was in her Young Women's, and the family was going through a lot of different things and some real struggles, and herself, and she had basically helped her through it. And it's like, yeah, that's our mom. A couple of qualities about Mom that I've always admired. One is that, do you ever hear her speak bad about somebody? Now, she may be saying bad things about me, and I just don't know about it, but very seldom does she ever speak bad about people. I mean, you know, there's those few times, but it's never really that bad, except for a few different people. I'm not going to name any names, but there's a few different people that if you get her going, she'll open up, and you know, maybe you know, but it's just something I've always admired, to be able to control yourself not to talk about other people. And the last thing is, for most of us, it is easier to do the wrong thing than to do the right thing. But for Mom, I really truly believe it's easier for her to do the right thing, except for last Tuesday when she should have gone to the doctor. But it's always so easy for her just to do the right thing. And so many of us have struggled, some of us more than others, but she just but maybe someday we'll get to that point. Still a ways away, but getting better. But just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, tell you that I love you, and thankful for all you've done in mine and all of our lives. And I'm going to turn the time over to Mike, if he's ready.
I want to make him uncomfortable. He loves hugs so much. Oh, it's harder when you're sitting here and listening to these stories, bringing back the memories. I didn't think it would be hard. I had the belt story too, but it started out with the hand. It was always the hand, and that's what never hurt, was the hand.
Maybe that's why I remember the hanger so much.
And then she'd go to the hanger, and that didn't work. So the belt, but we deserved it. But I know when I was time for me to go on a mission, I think I'd even had my call, and I was sitting in my room, just stressing, going, I don't know if I can do this. I'm just not very good at speaking and to people, and just don't know the scriptures. I don't know if I can do this. And I remember Mom coming in and talking to me about it, and she pretty much said, and I felt a lot of pressure to go. I wanted to go, but I was scared to go, but I felt a lot of pressure, and just sitting down and saying, Mike, it's got to be your decision. If you don't want to go, don't go. You can't say that to me. I was trying to use you as an excuse, and here now it has to be my decision. So it helped me then decide, do I really want to go? And I had to make the decision that I wanted to go, and I'm thankful that I did go for what I learned there and stuff. So when you went on your missions, I was proud of you. I'm thankful that you did and set the example. Even though my boys didn't go, but I still appreciate your example. I know I was on my way to my mission. The road no longer turns and goes through starts with an L, I can't remember the town. But Mom kept saying, slow down, Mike, slow down. And I am, slow down. I'm going down the hill. Woo! And I got a ticket. I'm away to my mission. And then a time kept going to California. Same thing. Mike, slow down. And I was driving the family at the time, heading out to California to stay with the Johnsons and stuff. And I kind of got in a little argument with Mom, and because she was just, slow down, slow down, slow down. And so I was out golfing with Dad and Uncle Dick. I said, Dad, I'm so sorry for kind of getting mad at Mom. And he says, you just got to do what she says. And it's a lot easier. Good example there to what I needed to really learn. I remember when Mom got cancer. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember being down at Overton Park when I kind of found out about it. You hadn't really told us. Other people knew, and I remember you talking to other people about it. I was trying to figure out what everybody was so sad about and concerned, and I think it was Deanne that finally pulled me aside and told me what was going on and the struggles that you had then. I'm glad that things have turned out for you and for us with that. And because of that cancer and the operations you had to have, they said that they had to use skin from off her buttocks to repair the areas, and they were having a hard time finding some good skin. There were so many calluses sitting from so many ball games. that they had a hard time using the skin grafts because of that. But Gary, I'm thankful too that you came into our lives. You've been a good example to us since we both moved to Overton. We loved your family, and I was so excited that you two were able to get together and not be alone and live your lives together and be a part of our family. And then last, I want to, it's going to be the hardest. When Dad came to my apartment there in Provo after being at the general conference as a bishop and having pains in his back, going, Mike, would you pop my back? And I said, sure. And he laid him down, and I popped his back, and he said, I'm going to go lay down in the bed. And so he went on my bed in my apartment there, and I just had a weird feeling, so I thought I better go check on him. I go in there, he's sitting up reading my Sports Illustrated that I had. Luckily, it wasn't the swimsuit edition. But he says, I'm feeling a little better. And then that night, he had the massive heart attack and died. So I get a call from Uncle Pete that next morning early and said, you need to come to the hospital. So we jumped in the car and headed up there. And I just remember so vivid walking down the hallway of the hospital and Mom rushing out to meet me and saying, he's gone. We lost him. Knowing how hard it was on me, but how hard it was going to be on Mom and our younger brothers that were still at home. But she's such a good example and such a strong person that she stayed close to the Lord and relied on Him and came through this, in my opinion, flying colors. And I appreciate you. I have a song. It's not a mom song, it's a dad song. It's actually a Styx song. It's called Dear John that I've rewritten. It was in memory of John Panazzo, their drummer who died in the band. But I changed the words as Dear John, and I wanted to sing it. It's not because I'm a great singer that I want to sing it. I love to sing, but I know I'm not that good. But it's the message that I want to share with you guys about this, if you wouldn't mind me. If I can sing now. I'll hold that for you. So I've changed the words to the song Dear John and called it Dear Dad. I gotta put a capo on, sorry. And it's been pretty easy to get through it. Now it's going to be really hard to get through it, but Dear Dad, I knew you about as well as anyone. We worked together, so sure those days would never end. Now they're only memories, my friend, my friend. Dear Dad, I'll see you someday again. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I swear I saw you on a crowded street today. I almost called your name, thinking of all those yesterdays. Heaven help me, how I miss our dad. Dear Dad, I'll see you someday again. There'll be a celebration when I would be revealed. We'll have a reunion high on a hill. Dear Dad, how are you? God knows it's heaven where you are. Finds the peace there. May it never end. Sorry. Dear Dad, my heart knows we'll meet again. Dear Dad, I'll see you someday again. Mom, I love you. Thank you for everything.
You good? No, not your turn yet. Sorry. I don't know if I can do this though. Sometimes you have great ideas and it seems like a great idea at the time, and it's like I thought, oh, I'm gonna want to do it live. It'll be so much better, but it's just so much harder. But Deanne asked one day, well, are we giving gifts to Mom? And I'm like, well, the gift is that we're doing all this. And then I got thinking about it. So, well, maybe I should give her a gift. And, but then, what do you give someone who probably has everything that she could have at this point in time? Then I thought, well, she's given gifts to me. So I thought, we'll sing one of her favorite hymns for her. So I asked her the other day, and she says, she sent back. I know that my Redeemer lives because I have been given much, and nearer my God to thee. And I just thought, I'll get my quartet together and we'll sing this, but I don't know if I can do it. But if Kinsey and Travis will come up, this is our gift to you. You got a note for us? You want to hold that? And I'll hold this, or you want to hold that?
Let's switch.
Okay. That's fine. Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee, even though it be a cross that raiseth me, still all my song shall be, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee.
Like the wonder, the sun gone down, darkness be over me, my rest a stone.
Yet in my dreams I'd be nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. There let the way appear, steps unto heaven. All that thou sendest me in mercy give. Angels to beckon me, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee, nearer to thee. And with that, I don't know if you noticed the cakes over there, but Kathy and her crew of oh, I'm sorry. Forgot about you. Sorry. Still a little shaky here. I'm lucky to still be standing.
Let me tell you, this is my privilege to be here today and be associated with the family. This is really the story, a legacy of a young lady over here by the name of Verla K. Hickman, who was the oldest of 4 girls. And in that responsibility, she had to set a example of faith and dedication and love to what she believed in. Her mom and dad, would you say they struggled a little? Anyway, over to Grandma Gertie's, and Grandma Gertie helped raise her, and she showed in her young life that she loved the Lord and wanted to serve the Lord. Well, this get-together this weekend is all about Kay and your dad, Alan, and the legacy that they've created in your family. And it's really a tribute to these two fine people. She told me when they went to Natarita and they accepted a job over there to teach school, and Deanne was just a little girl, and she was pregnant with Mike, and the struggles of being in a small little community in Natarita and the winters and all these things, and the tough time it was, but there was no hesitation about her dedication to the Lord and what she believed in. And that's what this family is all about. So it's my privilege to be here with you today and associate with you. And Kay and I have now been married going almost 19 years, and we've had a lot of fun together. We've been a lot of places and done a lot of things, and she's been a great blessing in my life. But the tribute is, and to you young people especially, the tribute is to Grandma and great-grandmas that she leaves a legacy of faith, and she leaves a legacy of dedication to the Lord. And her legacy is about, if you do your best and trust in the Lord, everything will be all right. And so that's the thing you need to remember about this little get-together and the family that comes to honor her. So my privilege to be here. It's my privilege to join the family and have some fun with you. And I love your mom, and I love her, and she's been a great blessing to me, and I'm grateful for our association together. Thanks, honey. Happy birthday. You got to say a couple of words.
Stay there.
Stay right there.
I just want to tell you that when I made you take piano lessons when you were little, it was not to become a professional. And you never did seem to get that. I told you. I told you I wanted you to learn to play enough that you could play the hymns. And you got to the 7th grade, and your teacher said, "You don't practice anymore, go home." And you did. And then you said, "I always wanted to learn." I said, you can take lessons. Yeah, but I'd have to practice. But I knew that it would bless your life. But you did stay in band and in choirs and things in school. And all of those things show up today and in your kids with the interest that you have in your kids doing the same things. And I'm grateful for that. You've shown me a lot of musical talent, and I'm really proud of all of you. There's probably a few things I could correct on some of the things that you said, but it wouldn't be that much to change it. You've been great. I love all of you. I love your families, your kids. I'm sorry I had to be sick this weekend. That breaks my heart the most, but I love being associated with all of you, and I'm proud of the things that you do. I'm grateful for your service in the church and trying to do the things that are right and to teach your families to do the same. And I've loved being able to go to as many things as I could that your kids are in and see them progress and do the things that I know that you're proud of, and I'm certainly proud of. And I'm grateful for this group now. I don't feel like I'm this old, but I see you growing up and your kids growing up. It's just a blessing to serve our Heavenly Father and do what He asks us to do, whether it's easy or hard. And when the hard times come, if we'll hang in there, we are blessed. I just remember when Dad first died, you kids told Marcus to not cry and not to ask for any money because I didn't have any. And I didn't have much, but one night I caught him with his pillow over his head, and I said, "It's all right to cry, Marcus. I cry a lot of times too." And we had a good cry that night together. It was hard to lose Dad at a young age, and young for many of you. But I'm grateful for your help and support and in your growing up and the things that you've chosen to do. And It's made me very proud of all of you, and I love all of you. Love the people that you've married and the children that you've had, and the children's children, and it keeps going on and on and on. And thanks so much for all you put into this, and it's a special memory for me. And I just love you so much. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grandma. Happy birthday to you.
Pass out.
You better have some help. Oh.